Hello everyone, today is May 10th, 2026. There's a lot of buzz from the Vatican. Pope Leo XIV is about to release a new encyclical. Insiders say it's a call for global unity and social justice, echoing the famous Rerum Novarum from 1891. That letter addressed workers' rights and the need for a just society during the Industrial Revolution. It promoted Sunday as a day of rest, a time for families and for society to recharge. Now, the new encyclical is expected to update these themes for our world of AI, global conflict, and widespread anxiety. The Vatican suggests timeless spiritual principles, community, rest, a shared moral compass are the answer. Rerum Novarum's ideas shaped laws and even the weekend as we know it. As Pope Leo XIV prepares to speak, we have to ask, what will his words mean for our future? How will governments interpret this call for unity and rest? And what could it mean for our personal freedoms? This is a conversation that affects us all. Let's look at the roots of these ideas and why they matter now. Rerum Novarum was groundbreaking. Pope Leo XIII saw workers suffering, long hours, poor conditions, no time for family or faith. He insisted everyone deserves dignity and fair treatment. Central to his vision, Sunday rest, not just as a religious duty, but a human right. He argued that a weekly day off was vital for physical, mental, and spiritual health. The encyclical urged governments to protect this right, making Sunday rest a matter of law, not just personal choice. This set a precedent for church and state shaping social norms together. Rerum Novarum framed Sunday rest as a solution to social problems, justice, family, national well-being. Today, as similar arguments resurface, we see the enduring influence of these ideas. The language may change, but the principle remains a legally recognized day of rest for all. But what are the implications when faith and law intertwine? Why is this conversation back in 2026? Because we're exhausted, burned out by technology, blurred work-life boundaries, and constant stress. Influential voices, political, religious, secular, are calling for a collective pause, a national day of rest. They say it's good for mental health, families, and even the environment. The idea is gaining traction as a way to promote unity and well-being. What's striking is how it unites different groups, religious leaders, politicians, environmentalists, all pointing to Sunday as the solution. They argue it's not about religion, but about healing society. But when the state legislates a day of worship, even for good reasons, it treads on sensitive ground. What about those who worship on a different day, or not at all? The push for a Sunday law, however well-intentioned, raises deep questions about church, state, and individual conscience. We must consider who decides what's best for everyone, and what happens to those who disagree. This brings a century-old warning from Ellen G. White in The Great Controversy. She foresaw a movement to enforce Sunday observance, starting gently but growing forceful. White warned that such laws would trample liberty of conscience, the right to worship or not, as you choose. She connected this to biblical prophecy, a final test of loyalty, a conflict over worship and authority. The issue isn't just which day to rest, but who has the right to command worship, God or the state. For those who keep Saturday as Sabbath, a Sunday law would force a choice between faith and law. White's warning: when government enforces religious duties, it oversteps its bounds. This is the heart of the conflict: freedom of conscience versus state power. The stakes are high and the consequences profound. We must remember, true liberty means the freedom to choose. So, what now? First, be aware. Watch what's happening, listen to leaders, and think critically about proposed solutions. Cherish and defend freedom of conscience. It's the foundation of a free society. This liberty means we can believe and live as we choose, peacefully. Be vigilant against any law that erodes this freedom, even in the name of unity or security. The Bible urges us to be wise and discerning, to understand the times and see the bigger picture. This isn't about fear, but about spiritual preparedness and standing for truth. As new calls for unity and rest emerge, engage thoughtfully, champion justice and compassion, but protect individual liberty. Let's stand for principle, not just popular opinion. Freedom of conscience is a right worth defending for ourselves and future generations.